My name is Stephen Thomas Evison, but for the past 15 years, people have called me Coach.
When I joined LASC 2 years ago, I had done a little research before I joined. I asked a lot of friends, I asked some people that were involved in the club, some of the coaches, and I asked all of them how they liked it. And most of them had, in fact, all of them had very positive things to say. They liked their club, they liked the community, they liked the structure. One person said that the style is very much my style, playing out of the back, kind of developing boys properly. And then they told me about Sergio, who has been here for a long, long time. And they told me that he's very set in his ways. He could be very stubborn sometimes, but I think the one thing that they didn't mention is how generous he is, how involved he is, and how much he deeply cares about something that he's created all these years ago. But it's my pleasure. Sergio Salvadori, how long have been people calling you coach?
Good morning, Coach Steven. Uh, Quite a while for now. It's been about more than 20 years, that's for sure. And my own kids call me Coach. And wherever I go in the stores, they call me Coach at Ralph's. And I see parents and I see players everywhere. So that's the most common way I get called throughout my day. And even when I go and play with my old farts, like we call ourselves, they call me coach.
Wow.
So it's been a while. I've been involved in soccer for a while, and it's been part of my life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what 20 years people calling you coach, but I have players that have long graduated both high school and college and they still come up to me, "Hey coach, how's it going?" So I can only imagine what it is for having 20 years experience. But so 20 years but first before all that, I kind of just want to know what your relationship is with soccer. You were born in Italy?
I was born in England
Ooh.
and in the 60s. So now I'm going to date myself. Doesn't matter. With what I do, my spirit, it's forever young. Thank you
Hmm.
to the players, the youth that I deal with day in, day out. I was born in England, and the first 2 years of my life, I lived in England. That's where my mom was from, and my dad was visiting when they got married. So he was working over there, and they decided that they wanted to go back to. My dad wanted to go back to Rome, Italy, and that's where he was from. And at the age of two, I moved back. I moved back to Italy. I moved to Italy. He moved back to Italy. And that's where I grew up until I moved to the United States when I was about 32 years old. So I lived
Wow.
30 years in Rome, in Italy. That's where I grew up. But I still maintain my British upbringings, going back every year for 3 months when I was young. And that's where my English with an accent came
Hmm.
about. And so I think I got the traits of both countries. Both my uncles were involved in football, and
Hmm.
we obviously just followed suit. And the thing that I think later on in life connected me to the club environment is the fact that my parents used to work and they have never watched a game or a practice that I've played or attended. And I had the coach and the president of the club. They used to pick me up on Saturday mornings, take me to the field, to the game. I used to go with a bus or with a moped to my practices. They were far away and just grew up with soccer, involved in soccer and trainings. I can't remember them very well, but
Yeah.
I think it's about something that contributed to the discipline in my life and the organization and connections. Connections, that's what youth sports usually create. And for me, soccer has been connections over my life,
Mm.
including
So
my,
what's the highest level that you got to?
I got to play in semi-pro in
Mm.
Italy at the age of 19 for a couple of months between my ending high school and having to start my military service. At the time, it was still mandatory to serve a year. And in the meanwhile, obviously, I had my high school in accountancy, and I pursued my CPA license, and I got my CPA license, and it was a different path from soccer. Soccer, it's for some, and I had my offers, but obviously, as the parents in nowadays seem to understand, it's also important to support and guide your kids. And
Mm.
I had support, but the guidance in terms of soccer was not there from my parents. So I enjoyed the game and I kept on playing a lot of tournaments, and there's a lot of high level soccer played in Rome, in the capital of Italy, at all, still to this day. So I've always been involved, always played, but
Mm.
got to the semi-pro and then had to go to work and found a real job and got my license and my CPA firm. So
Gotcha. And so you're in your 30s and then you move over to the United States. Was the goal just to do CPA? Was the goal to kind of continue soccer relation? I mean, was it both?
no, it was for me it was just CPA coming over
Mm.
here, and I got married, and for me it was about pursuing a CPA career, and I got stopped by the transposition of my certifications that I've earned in Italy and not recognized by the accounting board over here in the US.
Mm.
And I started working in different companies in accounting. But then when I started coaching, I felt like that was the path I wanted to follow.
Mm.
And that was gave me also a reason to be with my kids. And I was lucky that both of them enjoyed playing the game, and not sure they enjoyed 100% me coaching them, but they realized in the later days that it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. They had a good thing. So I started coaching, and I started off with meeting Cliff, the president of at the time SCV Magic, who basically met me at the e-license course.
Mm.
So he saw something in me, or he took an educated guess, and invited me out. And a while later, I was part of the club, and I started putting together the younger ages, which SCV Magic did not have, and that's the way we used to do business under. It was SCV Magic. Obviously, the entity has been always the same one from 1998, and became a non-for-profit in 2000, and it's Santa Clarita Valley Soccer Association.
Mm.
And that's what the club is, no matter what name we have. So I came to the club, and I started bridging the gaps and getting involved, and I wanted to do things in a certain way. Meanwhile, I had coached a couple of years at AYSO, and I realized that it wasn't the environment I was looking for. I was a little bit more competitive, maybe out of place in AYSO, but even there, people appreciated me, and even though I was the loud one. So, yeah, we'll talk about that later. And so, yeah, started organizing, and to the point where in 2008, I started directing the club, and done so since then with one thing in mind, the players. So
Wow. So 20 years ago, so SCV Magic, and then you hop on the board on, or you hop in as director at 2008. Still SCV Magic at that time?
time was still SCV Magic, and
SCV Magic.
that's when we started organizing. We started organizing, we changed our model, and the models were changing in the landscape. They were translating from the team, coach, manager, and umbrella club style to a model where the club now organizes the coaches, the players pay a registration fee to the club, and the club at that point handles the coaching and everything else. The major concern at the time was that Players came and come and go, and coaches did not have a financial stability.
Mm.
Besides, that was one of the reasons to change the model under the financial aspect. So the club was able to manage itself at reserves, and since then we manage the club, and we still have our reserves. We are very frugal, and we still maintain our scholarship funds every year,
Hmm.
and we have done things properly. And
Yeah.
in all this changes, we obviously introduced a coaching environment where the coaches collaborate. There's no longer my team, your team.
Hmm.
The team managers understood that every year, every player, I introduced tryouts, open tryouts every year for every age group at the beginning, and that wasn't the model, which to be I go and get my players and that's it. Instead, we just transitioned slowly, slowly, and things worked out. We had a new number of coaches coming through the program, and some of them wanted to be more independent, and
Hmm.
others wanted to be part of an organization where they felt supported. And slowly we had the needs. I found the needs to try and change also the way we coached. And that's when we make an affiliation. We made an affiliation with one of, at the time, and still today, nation's top soccer club, the Al They
Hmm.
were 6 times national champions, and honestly, I was tired to have them picking my players on the sidelines during games. So I got to meet AB and Howard Fink, which were director and president of Real Socal, and they noticed what we were doing was very similar to their model, and they obviously got to know me, understood my philosophy. I shared with them what I was looking for, and they offered an affiliation, which was one of the models that was coming up in the new soccer landscape. So there were bigger clubs absorbing smaller clubs,
Yeah.
and then there were bigger clubs just branding. Like in our case, we had the branding, and obviously we moved to be Real Socal, Santa Clarita Valley, but we always kept our autonomy and dependency as an organization, as a 501(c)(3), financially, administrative. So we just branded, and obviously what I was looking for was a curriculum, a periodization, and at the time, Real Socal had started as well in looking at methodology and coaching philosophy, and so it was a good time for us. And yes, it took a long time to introduce and see the implementation of that curriculum periodization, but I saw the benefits. I felt the need for our coaching staff and for us to grow because ultimately the objective is to give a better service to the players, to develop players within their limits and whatever their passion is, but definitely build love for the game that's lasting in life. And so we mix
Yeah.
uh, curriculum, obviously, with an environment that drastically has changed, and especially with generations and new generations of players.
So you go from SCV Magic and you want something bigger and you want something better. So you latch on to Real SoCal. What was the transition then from Real SoCal to LAFC? Because after the since I've been involved in coaching, LAFC Santa Cruz Valley has always been a very, very structured and very, very dominant force here in the valley. So what was the jump like from Real to LAFC?
It was no actual jump. It was just a effect of Real Socal feeling the needs of getting bigger. Not my goal was to get better, not bigger, because being bigger involves a lot of things that unfortunately in Santa Clarita it's difficult, like field space and everything. but going back to your question, Real Socal did an affiliation itself
Mm.
with LAFC.
I gotcha, gotcha.
So us,
Okay.
based on our affiliation with Real Socal, we followed suit and we became LAFC Socal Youth Dash Santa Clarita Valley.
FC.
That
Wow.
was the
Okay.
name. So
So
we became one of the first clubs to be connected with the MLS Academy, not part of it, but connected with
yeah.
through Real, our affiliation with Real Socal, who made an affiliation with LAFC.
Wow. So you have this really long, fruitful relationship with Real SoCal. Uh, why the sudden jump to LASC? What was the thinking a year ago? Or, I mean, maybe I'm guessing the conversations were kind of a little bit longer than a year ago, but what were the conversations like and why would the jump to LASC now?
Yes, the conversations were longer than that. With AB and Howard, who I to this day maintain a great relationship, has been a great cooperation. We both got a lot of benefits out of it. The thing that in the years Howard and AB tried, I'm saying that they tried to see if it could be a program, what was starting to be called an elite program,
Hmm.
run here in Santa Clarita, based in Santa Clarita. Uh, Real Socal slash LAFC is under the ECNL umbrella. So ECNL, ECRL, ECRL2, and obviously they have certain restrictions, and that's something that also limited Real Socal LAFC to give us a program to be able to be run independently here in Santa Clarita. So one point they offered us an ECRL2, which was also offered through our SoCal League. And at the time was another tier of uh, of a, let's say, one of the two biggest organizations in the soccer in the United States. So we looked into things. We retained that it wasn't for us. It wasn't beneficial or extremely beneficial in the first year or two of the CRL2 to move some of our teams over there. And we decided that we were going to wait. In the meanwhile, I was approached by Brian Waltrip, which is the counterpart at LASC, at the time Los Angeles Soccer Club. They had a recent change as well. And we got to find, talk about the landscape, about what our intentions and what our philosophies were. And Brian had a bigger project, and he approached me because he thought that a club like ours, again, in all these years, we had a stable acknowledgement from in Southern California with our teams. And when I started, SCV Magic was not known, and they knew Santa Clarita because of Magic Mountain. They did not know. They did not know SCV
I
Magic.
anybody that we anytime we travel anywhere far and like go to LA and I say, oh, we're from Santa Cruz, they kind of just look at me all funny and I have to say, oh, have you heard of Magic Mountain? Yeah, so
Yeah, no, but I was able specifically with initially with my teams to put SCV Magic on the map. And that's when we played against the Galaxy Academy, new at the time, and we beat them. And then we played
ooh,
AB and Real Socal teams, and we competed. And from the good old easy SCV Magic teams, now we got somebody competing. So we put ourselves on the map, and since then it's been a crescendo. I think we grew every time, every year. We had different teams representing us, different age groups, different genders. So I think we did well in all these years, and the
gotcha.
affiliations were proper. And again, with Brian, we talked about a bigger project, and suddenly, after 2 years of talking, at the beginning of of last year. Actually, no, this year. Time goes by so fast. The beginning of this year, as a matter of fact, with our first tryouts that we had for the 25-26 season, I just bought a bunch of new bibs with the LAFC, SoCal Youth. And suddenly Brian turns around and tells me that he has the possibility of giving us a elite academy program that we could run on our own, which was a possibility that unfortunately Real Socal LAFC would not, wasn't able to offer us
Wow.
in a whole program. And obviously we evaluated the level and if we could compete and with what we have. And we thought about the boys side and the girls side, which obviously the EA program does not offer. So I had conversations with Brian about the changes in the landscape again. And we felt that MLS would have also expanded to the girls' side. And as a matter of fact, after a couple of days that we made the agreement with LASC, with Los Angeles Soccer Club, basically MLS announced a partnership with the GA, the Girls Academy.
Mm,
And right after we made our announcement, the GA announced the Aspire program, which is another tier of the GA on the girls' side. So we are looking at obviously the fulfilling also the competition level with hopefully a new league on the girls' side. We are working on rebuilding our girls' side, and hopefully this will be the end point where we're going to get a league that is different from the SoCal League, and it's very similar to the EA2 league that we are competing with the boys' side for the girls' side.
right, right.
So that is was the thought. And obviously we looked into things. We decided that this was a possibility that we could compete in the EA2 league that we run by ourselves under our banner. And we decided to take the possibility. And obviously I explained everything to AB and Howard, and that's why we have a good relationship. Everybody agreed, everybody was on the same page, everybody is just happy, and we'll always collaborate. So
Wow. So you have SCV Magic and then Real SoCal that transitions to LAFC because I all I hear is that you just kind of wanted to grow your club. You want to grow your club. And now we're at LASC with all these routes possible and that we're kind of starting to explore them. What do you kind of have envisioned for the club in 3 years, 5 years time? What do
to
you
me,
want
that
the club to be?
yeah, as I said before, the growth of the club, it's not a growth in terms of numbers, but it's a growth in terms of quality, and that's why we are working. With our coaching staff a lot. And we have coaching education, we have a support system, we have a philosophy, we have a lot of documents in place that we discuss, we talk with our coaching staff that we're trying to implement. And obviously, like everything, it takes some time, but I've had time with this club. I have time with these players. I've seen many generations now, I can say, coming through, graduating, and I see continuous improvements. Yes, the levels it's could always be better, and it's much differentiated. We have some groups that excel, some other groups that are okay, some other groups that need improvements, but that's because of the landscape here in Santa Clarita. There is a lot of clubs, and there is a lot of player dilution, and we can't manage to get every player in the same place, same year, so that we could build something really, really strong. As I said, growth in numbers, it doesn't make sense if we don't have space to train them. The growth in quality is key. It's key, and I've seen it. And this year, besides, I've seen changes in the players, and from our starting level going up, it has improved. So there are a lot of concepts that slowly I've been talking about in the last 20 years, and the coaches are picking them up. able to have them see my point of view, and we collaborate, we exchange ideas, sparkle conversations, and so it's a good environment. It's a good environment where it's key for us to empower the players and the players, and for that we have implemented our coaching philosophy, teaching methodology, where the player is at the center of the plan, the organization.
Great. I mean, 1 year in, we just, I mean, the EA2 program is the season's going to be continued going, but 1 year in with LASC, how you liking it so far? How you liking EA2?
EA2, it's a new environment for us. It's a good environment. We are testing the opposition. As you said, the season is long. It will go until next May. So we have some groups that are quite challenged, and other groups like 2011's, the national champions in the NPL, that are struggling to find some good competition. So we're looking closely for their development. Obviously, we have to look at what's next for them. But overall, there's a good environment, and the same, the same I could say for the SoCal. I've been attending now. I've seen all our teams play this season, and I watched about 60 games in total. And one thing I noticed, and I don't think it's just because I am there, but the parents are understanding what we are trying to set up for their kids as an environment, and they're following suit, and they maybe got to all the information that we shared in the past couple of years with the parent engagement plan that we had at the club. And finally, it seems to be a good environment. I'm enjoying the games where the players play, the coaches coach, and the parents are cheering. So I think it's a win-win for me overall, because players are developing, the coaches are getting better and are growing, and the parents are understanding what the environment is.
Mhm.
So that for me is my plan, and the plan for them. You said 1 to 3 years is hopefully move the EA2 teams to EA, which would mean that we have done well all across the six teams that are in the EA2 league, and maybe add two more, which are the 9v9s, to the EA2 league next season. And then on the girls' side, it's to be able to generate the same program under the GA, with always having MLS next. And just to finish the conversation that we started before, for me, the difference between MLS and the ECNL organizations, which are the two that basically govern soccer in the United States, is that the MLS now with the GA is covering the girls and the boys side. And that will be the end result, because the MLS next is the feed into the national teams.
Mhm.
So that for me, it's one of the reasons why I weighed more EA2 versus ECRL2 as a program.
Mm.
It's under which banner they are operating.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's no question that the MLS Next route, I mean, both routes are phenomenal. It produces some of the highest level soccer in the country, but the MLS Next is just proving to be just a lot bigger, in my opinion. At least that's kind of what I've been observing, and anybody that's gravitating towards the highest level right now, it seems to be more MLS Next than it is ECNL, even though
yes,
both of them are phenomenal.
where in the past they lacked of the girls side on the MLS, where ECNL offers boys and girls, now the MLS covers the girls side too. So I agree with
Yeah.
you 100%.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I mean, I'm super happy that all of our teams are doing well. As you know, the fall season for most of us that aren't playing in the EA program just wrapped up right now, and I'm struggling, coach. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I am reflecting on the season and about how I did as a coach and what can I do better. And I think the biggest lesson that I learned this year was that there is no off switch. There's no turning it off kind of mid-season and having just kind of finishing out, man, you need to grind, and it's not about the work you put in the summer. It's about the consistent maintenance that you put in during season that will put you to the next place. But I just had a question for you, kind of like based on your coaching style. Um, how do you manage having like a maintenance day, but also keeping like the same intensity in a training?
I'd say that going back to your statement, what we also need as coaches, it's time. Time, especially when we have new groups, new players, when we have the luxury of having a team returning as a nucleus, we have already certain habits, certain cultures in place where we need to have more time available for all the age groups, especially because their habits are more eradicated. So we need to have more time, and that was one of the things I was reflecting on as I watched this weekend the last games of a lot of older teams. And I want to go back to, to the league at the DOC meeting next coming up and see how we can get a little bit more time. There is
Mm,
no need for us to finish before even November starts. There
mm,
is EA2 has games all the way until the weekend before Thanksgiving.
yeah.
And that should be, in my opinion, what we should try to put in place. Yes, MPL has playoffs. Nobody else has playoffs. Let's guarantee 3 or 4 extra games to these boys because as coaches, we get to keep on grinding and getting some things that we are almost there or we just figured out.
Mm. Just like my first one, I am still trying to figure this out. So, take two on we were talking about the O9s, coach. Go ahead.
Yes, I was saying that there is not enough time that is as well as I would like because we could put in 4 more games and for the older age groups with the league. So I'll go back to them and see if I can promote something and for the boy, for the youngest, we did spring league. The spring league is another 8 to 10 games that they get in, and for me, it's a good amount of games. And I definitely prefer 1 game, 2 games in the weekend, hopefully one for the olders only, and not tournament style. Get to 2, 3 games in the weekend. That's not game like, and that puts a toll on our kids' health. And for me, health it's the biggest priority. And
Mm,
obviously, quality obviously is not the same. There is a reason why we need recovery. And as you mentioned, how do you maintain intensity with practices? And I told you it's one thing with an older team that you had for a while where the culture is established, and hopefully by then you will have a natural instinct of the players to give the effort and the intensity. What I always, even 20 years ago, what I was about is not too much about the physical conditioning with specific exercises for intensity. No, it was game-like intensity.
mm,
So setting up environments for the players, that's our job to set up environments for the players where they can play, play, play. The game
mm,
teaches itself. There's topics, there's ways, but they have to play constantly. And that's how it builds up the endurance. And I will never forget, I played against a surf team at the time. It must have been, what, in 2010s. And this coach at the end of that was a semifinal of National Cup. And basically, he said that surf at the time was one of the clubs, big clubs, and turned around to us after the game, and he says, "I've never seen a team that's this fit and works this hard for the whole 90 minutes." So that was for me the biggest compliment, and it was about creating that mentality in the players, and obviously it takes a group of special players, and that's what we got to build: special players that have those qualities, that desire, and the intensity will come along, but to answer your question, you can't.
mm.
Intensity is something that comes from a desire. The desire comes from within. We can inspire them. We can't tell them what to do. So we have to set
Wow.
up an environment where they have to work hard, and then you'll see who the ones that are wanting and the ones that are not. By
Yeah.
intensity will come in.
My microphone's on here. Or do you
I
hear?
can make an example in the
Oh,
game I saw for your eights
oh.
last Sunday.
What
So
happened with my oats?
no, an example of who's willing to put in the work and
Oh,
intensity and who doesn't. So
yeah. You know, that's so funny, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I reflect so much on trainings and I reflect so much on seasons and I think it comes within. I do. I think that it really becomes like I am the one that needs to be the one that makes them as intense as possible. But if they're not grabbing it the way they should be, then yeah, man, I guess it does fall within. I mean, but you are talking a lot about your previous experiences and your like preferences. So I just have one question. Do you miss coaching soccer?
I still coach soccer every day. I coach more because I don't know how many coaches in the club have seen 60 games from the beginning of the season to today. So in every game, I do my coaching. It is coaching for the coaches, there's coaching for the players. And that's where I get my gratifications is when the players come back and ask questions and players are responsive. Obviously, the youngers have a different approach and the olders, but with me, I found a relationship with every single player this season, for example,
Hmm.
every single player.
Yeah.
So that for me is coaching, and that's the reason why I don't coach because I coach four teams at once, and it's not easy. Yes, I had assistant coaches, but at the same time, my objective is to just benefit as many players as I can. If I coach four teams, I may get to 70 players. If I help coaches to understand how to coach more efficiently and more effectively for their development, then I touch 500 players.
How did you coach like four teams in a fall season you coached before?
Yes.
You've
That's
coached
when I bridged the gap.
Oh my
I
goodness.
have three
That
boys teams and one girls team.
that
So
is that is incredible. Like how did you not only physically do it, but how did you mentally do it? One thing that I'm noticing after coming off a long weekend, I had about I think 3 weekends where I had 5 games, where I coached 5 games. The amount of information that comes in 5 games on your teams is almost unmeasurable. The amount that you have to kind of remember, reflect, and also how are you going to implement new things into your trainings? What do you want to see next week that you just saw? You times that by three, it's I need to sit down sometimes and think about it just by myself. So how did you manage 4 teams?
enthusiasm, a
I've got
lot of
I got eons of
enthusiasm.
enthusiasm, coach. I can give
And
you
then I
enthusiasm
had
all day.
a growth mindset, a
Uh,
growth mindset. And I still have boxes of printouts of publications, books, coaching books, and everything. So I couldn't get enough soccer and I wanted to make a difference as soon as I could. And so I was eager, and that's what pushed me. And one point, it's until I can go and give quality. And then I started becoming with the director of coaching job, a different kind of job. So I had to make my choices. But as I said, I coach when I go and play with my old forts. So I
Yeah.
coach all of them because that's how they were going to call me coach. But no, I get my little coach fix every weekend. Every day I step on the field. Right. Now that I'm evaluating coaches and helping them, and I maintain my relationships with the players, and that's the most rewarding and gratifying thing.
It's man, coaching to me is just a different level. I honestly, I can't, I can't wrap my hand around it. I was thinking about it on my walk this morning about how you just develop this relationship with our youth, and not only our youth but our community. And it's not, it's a friend, but it's more than a friend. It's not really a relative. The title coach to me is just something that is so unique, and I'm beyond blessed to not only be a role in my community's lives, but to kind of give back any kind of knowledge that I can give, whether it's through soccer or whether it's through just personal life. So I'm glad to see that you are able to kind of fill that need and that it's still possible regardless of where you're at in your career. So yeah, kudos
Yeah, and a little
to anybody
episode
being
to
a
back
coach.
that up happened just a couple of weeks ago. It was Gelati, one of our sponsors, was there in the evening, and one of our former girls who wait comes in with her mom, and as they see me, coach, and the mom says, Coach, can you talk to her? She doesn't want to go and play in college. So,
It's like, okay,
so
yeah.
now I spent my 2 cents. Obviously, the mom did not like what I said. And Savannah, the player, obviously from her respect that she has for me, listened to me. And about 20 minutes later, I was about to leave. The mom calls me and she says, Coach. I said, I don't know what you told Savannah, but she changed their mind.
Hey, there you go.
So,
Savannah playing some college soccer. All right.
it's about empowering these kids. That's my
Yeah.
style. If I have changed my style of coaching in the years from when I started, I was louder. Now I'm more calmer, composed. But the bottom line was always empowerment. I always wanted to empower my players with the knowledge for them to play the game. I always tell them, if you ask, even Coach Francisco, who coached in our staff, and that was a big circle. He played for me for 10 years and then he came and coached with me.
Wow.
And I noticed what effect I had on them because I saw it in my style and his style. So it's something that empowering them. My dream was to sit down and not say a single word except clap the whole game because they were doing what they were supposed to do. So it's good. It's good to empower these kids because they can. They're smarter than us, they're younger, and they're eager. So
Hmm. I asked this to Coach Jose last time I had him on, and it's a very interesting question. So, what's one non-negotiable that you demand from every team?
that's quite easy based on who I am and my 20 plus years with this sport is commitment. Commitment,
Mm,
which is the thing I found the least out there. And when I say commitment, I say commitment for 1 year. 1 year. Everybody needs to be able to work in peace, not having to judge all along the way, and just give each other 1 year. Players, we commit to the players for a year. The coach commits to the player for a year. We want the player to commit to us and give us that time. So unfortunately, when even one, two don't, there is a lot of trickle effects, a lot
mm,
of things that don't work well for many others, for the coach, for the club's intentions.
mhm,
So for me, commitment is the biggest thing I look for in any one individual, us as a club, us as directors, us as coaching staff, us as players, us as families.
mm.
Commitment is the biggest word for me.
Well, that commitment's gotten you very far. I mean, the amount of families that have committed to not only just 1 year, but to multiple years is it shows. It shows within the club, and it shows that they someone that's already graduated can come up to you and still call you coach. So I actually like that because I've been reflecting a lot on that word commitment too, and something that Golden Valley really struggled with in years past before I took it on was commitment, commitment to the program, commitment to it year over year. And when I came on, I didn't ask for that, but they kind of did commit. And I'm starting to see a little bit of a struggle this year with Golden Valley because I just feel that the players' commitment has faltered. And kind of something that you said along the lines earlier with just excuse me, the with the commitment and just be involved for the whole year. And I don't think that Golden Valley is going to do that. And so we're going to see. We're going to see high school
Yes,
soccer, but
at the end of the year, you see, and you do your summary. Did I enjoy? Did I give it my best? Well, I'm ready to do this, and both parties confront each other, and can we do it? We will keep on doing it. The commitment that I expect from the coaches, besides the team, is a commitment for themselves to become better.
mhm,
Growth mindset. There has to be. We ask our players, to grow, we need to ask ourselves, how can I grow?
Hmm. I like that.
So
I like that. Speaking of the kind of coaching staff that you have around you, in my experience, what I've learned in the very short time that I've coaching is it's not who you are as a person, but it's who you can have around you. And you have some really um, very invested and very talented people that are kind of helping push this vision of LASC. And I just kind of want to shout out a couple of them, but Coach Jared White's doing phenomenal. Coach Luis Garcia is doing phenomenal. All of our coaching staff, I think they've really kind of bought into that methodology. But it's really nice to see that we're all involved in making something towards something. And so I kind of just want to give props to our club for that. I think that's something we're all in unison for.
I agree 100%. I will also add Coach Luis Romero, which is working with the coaching staff as well to
Yep.
educate and develop each one of us. I'm finding myself sparking many conversations with him and get pick up a lot of new points and exchange a lot of good ideas. So it's something I've been doing for since I've started as a DOC. I believe that more than one head. It's much better. That's why the club is based as a system where no one decision is made by one person individually. So either is the president or the board or my other directors now that in the past 15 years I had a couple of people, individuals alternating into helping me in the roles of directors. And I finally found, I think, people that it's worthy, vested, as you said, and has bought into what the vision of the club is and is supporting it. And I think that once you get behind the scenes, you realize what goes on. You realize what it takes to maintain and to handle and to standardize and keep it as high as you can. And when you have a bunch of individuals and families and players, it's youth, it's dynamic.
Mhm.
So I think that that's what I feel like.
I love it. I love all of it. Well, thank you for taking a chance on me. You know, we first introduced each other 3 years ago when I was with Pat still, where I was kind of shopping a team. I didn't really know what my future was. And then last year, we kind of met and we agreed on some turns. And you gave me two teams that I've absolutely fallen in love with for the most part. I mean, my 2013s are my guys, they're my boys, they're my work in progress, man. Like you said, they've committed to me heavily. And then my 2010s, I love every single one of them too. We just finished Flight One season, and I kind of look back and I can't believe I'm in this position. And I just want to say thank you very much.
I appreciate you being part of our staff. I thought that you had the qualities required to be part of our program, and you have fulfilled, and you will keep on growing with us. As we grow, you grow.
Yep. All right, coach. Final thoughts. Anything you want to tell the club? Anything that you want all the parents, players, coaches, anything to know? Now is your time. Anything, final thoughts?
No, just try to make educated decisions, believe in what we have to offer, and document yourselves. And to the coaches, those are the ones that are my main objective. It's we have to improve ourselves as much as we can and bring back that product to the fields and improve our players. So, and the one word that I always want to hear in our practices and games is fun.
Mm.
Fun. They have to enjoy playing this game. A beautiful game. I
Yep.
still do. So
Always have fun. All right, Coach Sergio
thank you for
Salvadori,
the
thank you so
opportunity
much.
to speak and to run my mouth. I could talk hours about all of us, a long time involved. So I
We'll
appreciate
do
you giving me the possibility.
we'll do it again. I kind of want to make the rounds within the club, but we'll definitely do it again. All right, Coach Sergio. Ciao.
You're very welcome. Ciao. Good day. I'll see you out in the fields. Bye.